it's Courtney from Your House Fitness. We're gonna do a 3-round core circuit that is one of my favorites. Anybody that's ever trained with me has definitely done this, so you know who you are out there, okay? Basically, it's Pilates. Used to be called Around the World. Some people call it a 4-point core circuit. It just means that you're gonna go do an exercise on your front, then do an exercise on the left side, do an exercise facing the ceiling, and then do an exercise on the right side. So you're basically going around in a circle. Hopefully that makes sense. I put it up over here, okay, just in case. But basically we're gonna start on our front. Everything is for reps, so I'm gonna let you know how many you're gonna do, and if you need to modify something, you absolutely can. But let's get started. The first round will be the hardest round, okay? And we'll modify as we get going. So the first thing we're gonna do is hold a plank. We're gonna do 30 toe taps. So basically you're gonna get into a plank position, okay, from the elbows. Come on up nice and tall, okay? Abs of steel, and then you're gonna tap your feet out side to side. So I'm gonna count out 30 reps here, okay? Do the best you can. We'll make sure if you need to modify this, you could just hold still, okay? You could even just do this from your knees and hold the plank, that's no problem, okay? So if you'd rather just hold a plank for the duration it takes us to do 30 reps, or you can do 30 seconds if it's easier for you. But let's go with this one here. So I like to incorporate something a little bit more dynamic than just holding a static plank if it's possible for you. So I like this one. It tends to warm up the obliques, your hips a little bit more, hip flexors, and as well as your lower back and shoulders. All right, here we go. 27, 28, 29, and 30. All right. So that's our facing the ground exercise. I'm gonna turn towards you guys. I'm gonna pick my weaker side to do first, okay? I generally like that as my progression. So we're gonna do left side plank. So you can do a plank from the knee, you can do a plank with your feet stacked, you can do plank with your feet staggered, whatever you want, okay? For this one here, we're gonna do some dips. So in whatever plank position you'd like to, you're gonna come on up in that side plank here, okay? And you're basically just gonna do a nice hip to the ground. You don't actually touch the ground, hip to the sky. So I'm just dropping a couple of inches down and then hiking my hips up a couple of inches higher, okay? So it doesn't have to be a gigantic movement, but basically just lower and raise. You're looking to feel a contraction in the oblique set down here and your hips. So keep your bum very tight. What I don't want you to do is have your butt back here. Keep your hips pushed forward, squeeze those butt cheeks, drop your hips and hike. We're gonna go for 10 reps, okay? So here we go. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so 10 hip hikes in your side plank position. Laying on your back. I know some of you are just gonna wanna have a nap, but okay, listen, we're just gonna do a few rounds here so you can have a nap at the end here, all right? So the first thing we're gonna do on our back are some bridges, excuse me. And listen, I'm not complaining because it's cold outside, but that sun is nice and warm. So if I start sweating a lot, it's obviously because I'm working very hard. It's not the sun. So we're gonna do single leg. We're gonna go 10 bridges on either side. So I want you to pull, I'll do this side first. I want you to pull your heel close enough to your butt, if you're flexible enough, that you could touch your heel with your hand, okay? It doesn't have to be touching, but it also just shouldn't be way out here, okay? So as best you can, and I want you to put most of the weight in the heel of that foot, okay? I'm gonna put my hands here. You can put your hands here wherever you'd like, okay? And I'm gonna cross my right leg. So all I'm gonna do from here is tighten up my abs, squeeze my bum, push my hip up, squeeze this butt cheek, and I'm gonna lower. I'm not gonna touch the ground. I'm gonna hike up. I'm gonna do 10 on the left and 10 on the right, okay? So I'm gonna, again, multitask. I'm getting a good stretch. So I'm basically doing a little bit of a glute stretch on this side, performance stretch, as I activate this hip. So I'm multitasking, trying to really make sure that my glutes are awake while I try to stretch this guy out as well. Also, the pressure I'm applying here is helping keep my hip in the right spot, or it was supposed to be, and applying a little bit of pressure. Good. 9. And one more. All right, other side. So same thing. Again, pull that heel up. Try to make sure that most of the weight's in the heel of that foot. Cross this leg over. Try to keep your hips square. So what I mean by that is make sure you're not leaning. So when you lift up, make sure that you're not tilting, okay? You try to keep your hips in your belly button pointing up at the ceiling, kind of like this, okay? And again, I'm gonna lower down and I'm gonna hike up. And I'm gonna focus on really engaging through my right glute, okay? Now I know I'm tighter on the left hip, so I can feel the stretch a little bit more all through this hip, with my left leg crossed, which is great. But now I really want to focus on making sure that my right glute turns on, okay? So remember, your glutes are part of your core. I know every time people say they want to do core work, they're just thinking about their abs, but I mean, these guys are powerhouses. If they don't function very well, any injury can occur from knees, through lower back, through anything I can think of, actually. Everything's related to your butt, okay? Good, one more. All right, which brings us to our right side. So I'm gonna flip over to face you guys, and I'm gonna repeat what I did on the other side, okay? So I'm coming back into my right-sided plank, double checking my form here. If you're not sure, I'm sure you can check out a tutorial on how to do a side plank, but general rule of thumb, if you're gonna stack your feet, they should kind of be parallel to the forearm that's on the ground, and then just double check that that shoulder is aligned above the elbow, okay? So come on up in whatever side plank you did before, and again, we're doing 10 dips, okay? So just take it easy. Remember, it's not a huge exercise, but some people are more flexible than others, right? So take it easy. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's our first round. So we're gonna pick up the pace a little bit. If you wanna grab a drink or anything, go for it. Facing the floor again, we're gonna do what are called plank hip dips, okay? Some of you might find this one easier than the first one we did, but I think I like this one. It helps, again, activate obliques and hips a little bit more, and it looks like this, okay? You can do this from the knee, but I'm gonna show you it from the toe. All right, so I'm coming up in a plank position from my elbows, okay? And then a plank hip dip, basically I'm gonna imagine going over a Bosu ball or like a half ball. So I'm gonna drop my hips just, again, a few inches to the right. I'm gonna hike up and drop my hips off to the left. I'm not touching the ground. There are people out there that absolutely can, but let's just be safe here, okay, and not hurt our backs trying to work our core. And again, I'm gonna challenge you to 30 reps. Okay, so do the best you can. 30 total reps, so that's 15 on the left and 15 on the right, okay? So you're just dropping the hips off just far enough down that you feel some pressure, and then you squeeze and you contract and drop them off on the other side, okay? You're gonna have to keep fixing your feet because I tend to slide even with shoes on a yoga mat. I do slide around a little bit. All right, here we go, last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. All right. So back to facing you guys. Left side down. All right. So this side plank, we're gonna do some twisting. Okay. It's 10 reps. You can do it in any variation of a side plank that you can think of. If you'd like to be on the knee, be on the knee. That's fine. Otherwise, I'm gonna do this time. I'm gonna do a staggered position just because I feel like it. So I'm gonna come up in my side plank. I'm gonna take that top hand and I'm gonna thread it under my ribs. I'm gonna reach, okay, as far as I'm comfortably able. And then I'm gonna open up. And I'm gonna squeeze my butt and make sure that my hips are pushed forward. Okay, so that's 1. Here we go. 2. Squeeze your butt, make sure those hips are pushed forward. Okay, so a lot's gonna happen here. We can get into the specifics another time. But focus on keeping your hips up and pushed forward and open up the shoulders. Okay, so try to make sure there's a lot of space between that bottom ear and that shoulder on the ground here. So I think this one is harder than the first side plank we did. There's always a couple people that don't think so, but you know what? It just depends on what you do outside of this, right? All right, and 10. All right, which brings us back to our back. All right. So we're gonna do what are called slow motion bicycle crunches, okay? Literally what it sounds like, okay? So first things we wanna remember are that is that there's no gap underneath your back. So remember, you're not doing abs work with this huge gap here. I'm exaggerating for that point. You need to push that lower back into the ground, so you can't put your hand underneath here, okay? You're gonna smoosh. So I need you to understand that you need to engage your core this way. So you're pushing into the ground. Priority number 1. My head's already off the ground to prove that point. So a lot of times people will return to the floor. My concern with that though is that you might end up doing that. So if you're worried, just keep yourself up the whole time. Extra ab work for you, and proper positioning, okay? So let's make sure that's locked in. From here, I'm gonna hold my head up, okay? And I'm gonna lift my legs, okay? Now, you can do a version of this called a dead bug. So there's some tutorials I saw showing you how to do a dead bug with or without a band. But for us, let's just focus on, if we don't have any equipment, what we could do. So I'm up now, and I'm basically just gonna tilt over towards my opposite knee, bring everything back to center. And other side, okay? I want you to stay up as high as you can with your upper body, nice and slow, always returning to center. Like I've only done 5 and my abs already are burning, okay? So I hope that the same thing is happening for you. Let's go for 20 total reps, okay? Do the best you can. And if you need to take a break, take one, no big deal. All right. So again, if you're not sure if your form is suffering or you're starting to feel this in your back, I would honestly just take a break for a second, take a deep breath, reposition, and then go from there, okay? So here we go. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Oh yeah, my abs are already done. And there's still a whole nother round. I'm kidding. All right, so we're back to the same plank that we did on the right side. I'm now gonna do on the left, okay? So coming on up, let's do our 10 twists. So here we go, reaching under, opening right back up, okay? 10 reps, do the best you can. And then again, don't forget, squeeze your hips, make sure that your butt is engaged, you're pushing your hips forward when you rotate out of the twist. I always find in any Pilates class I've ever taught, people always forget about their bum. I know you're so busy focused on your abs and your obliques, but gotta get that whole core engagement, and that includes your hips and your bum and your abs at the same time. Good. Let's go a couple more. And one more. All right, so grab some water. Let's head back to the front plank here and the final round here. Now listen, if you think it's a little bit easy, you can always take this workout and modify it, right, to make it your own. So if we did 30 reps of something, you could do 50, right? If we did the 10 side planks, you could do 20. So you can take the workout, modify the reps to suit your ability, okay? And whatever kind of challenge you're looking for. All right, so here we go. Last round here. I'm gonna go for my hands this time, okay? We're gonna do some old school mountain climbers, but we're gonna do what are called cross-body mountain climbers. We're gonna go 30 reps, okay? So lock those shoulders into place. So priority number 1 is that you don't wanna look like this. If you're eating your shoulders or you're wearing them like earrings, pull them away from your ears, lock them in. I had a professor once that used to say, screw your hands into the ground. I mean, think of that, but make sure you don't turn your hands. Your fingers aren't pointing out to the side, they're pointing forward, okay? So lock them in, up onto the toes here, and then you're basically just gonna go crisscross with your knees, okay? Now be very mindful, your face should still be in the same spot. If you start to do this and suddenly you realize you're back here and you're looking down here, something went wrong, okay? So for some people, if it's helpful, put something right here where your eye line is gonna be, and make sure that your eye line is above it the whole time. That way you'll know that your hips aren't hiking up and you're not pushing back, okay? So your body likes to do that to you when you're getting tired, and that's okay. All right, so here we go. Locked everything into place, 30 reps, here we go. So 1 set, 2 set, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to keep those hips down as best you can. All right, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull your knees up as high as they'll go. 20, here we go, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. All right. And again, if you think that's kind of easy or you thought it was too hard, take the workout, modify whatever kind of reps you like. All right, our last side plank is from the knee, and this is focused on your hips. So, easiest way to do this, just take your bottom leg, bend 90 degrees at the knee, okay? Top leg here. I'm gonna come up in a side plank, push my hips forward, reach my hand up. These are called side plank crunches. I'm gonna take my elbow, so I'm gonna do a salute here. I'm gonna tuck my knee to my elbow and then open right back up, okay? Let's just go for 10, but like I said, if you wanna modify this, you wanna make your life a little harder, maybe make the goal 20, make the goal 30, whatever you would like to do, okay? I want you to extend that top leg and squeeze your butt as hard as you can. Bring it in and squeeze, okay? So the focus here is actually the hips and the obliques, but I really want you to focus on that hip, especially the top hip. Your bottom hip should be burning depending on how many reps you're doing. But that muscle's holding you up. That whole collection of muscles holding you up. One more. All right, so we're on our back. All right, so let's take it easy here. And let's again, focus on some deep core here, okay? So as best you are able, you gotta make sure that you've got that imprinting down, okay? So push the lower back into the ground, and I'm just gonna reach one leg up. You do not have to have a straight leg. Most of us aren't flexible enough to be like, perfect, I'm just super short, so it's really easy to touch my foot. It's not that I'm more flexible, it's that I have no leg, okay? That's fine. We'll talk about that another time. But basically, if you need to look like this, who cares? That's fine. The idea here is that I just want you to get one leg up, take the opposite hand, reach up and back down, okay? Up and back down. You're gonna go for 10. And I want you to focus on that pushing your lower back into the mat. Oops, excuse me, other side. Every single time. So think of the objective going up to the ceiling, like you're reaching, okay? If you find that this is hurting your back or you're just not comfortable with this, just put your foot back down and reach. Don't worry about it, okay? We'll go 2 more. All right, other side. So same thing, reposition, check your lower back. I'm already up. I like to already be up before I even begin, so I'm not starting down like this. I'm gonna make sure that my back is bulletproof, basically, okay? I don't wanna hurt myself. All right, going for 10. 3, 4, 5. Take it easy, but not too easy. 7, 8, 9. Whew. Hello, abs. All right. And last but not least is our side plank with our crunch. All right. So same thing. Bend the bottom leg 90 degrees. Coming up in a side plank from the knee, push those hips forward. Don't let me see your hips hanging out back here. Push them forward. Remember, everything, all your joints should be in a straight line, okay? Then I'm gonna lift. Let's go 10 reps. We've got my salute. I'm gonna tuck and extend and squeeze my butt as hard as I can, okay? 2, 3, 4, oh, slipping, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so that in a nutshell, as I grab some more water here, from all my talking, oh my God. Talking and exercising is really hard, God, I'm kidding. But not really kidding. Take that workout and kind of run with it. Just remember, pick an exercise where you face the ground, then pick an exercise on your side. I love side planks, so I think you should do side planks. Pick an exercise facing the ceiling, and then pick an exercise facing the right. So just make it a circle, you get the idea, and you can make this your own. But like I said, modify the reps according to your abilities and what kind of challenge you're looking for. But yeah, no equipment required unless you want to time yourself. That might be helpful. But yeah, take it easy, but not too easy, and give it a shot and let me know how it goes, okay? Anyway, I'm Courtney for Your House Fitness, and I will see you guys next time, okay? See ya.